Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to lay out your views for the hinge base. Note that now that we are dimensioning, we're using 1.5 inches between views. So I'm going to start, I'm in the no print layer right now, and I'll start by laying out the front view. Now that I know the front view is 3.5 inches long, the height I need to add 1.5 plus this 0.81. So I'm going to start just with a line instead of the rectangle, and I'll draw over the 3.5. Instead of adding that up, I'm going to go ahead and just type in the 1.5, and then I'm going to go up the 0.81. Instead of doing that math, we'll just draw it, and then we'll just track off of this and complete our front view. From there, I want to add a line that is 1.5 inches over to start my right view, and that would start and be the same height. The width of my front view is 1.5 inches, so I'll put in another 1.5 and go ahead and finish up that view. I can use my 45 to help me, and make sure you're snapping into polar 45 when you do this. I can bring this up till it hits and then take it over to this point, and I'll do the same on this side. Again, pay attention to your snaps there. If you notice I have a little X, that's the intersection that I'm looking for. Make sure you don't have nearest on or anything like that. That will definitely mess up your drawing. So then I have the boxes set up. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the object layer, and I can begin to lay out my object. So I do have an endpoint here. I can start by drawing that in, and then this height is 0.56, so I will type that in over here, and I just misdrew that. While I'm in the command, you can do U enter, and you can undo that last keystroke. So I'll draw that over again. I don't know exactly where this is going to go yet, so I'm going to overdraw it, and then I'm going to add in this radius here. So this is 0.81. I could draw a line over 0.81 and then draw a circle. Or this would be a good use for the tan radius option, where it's tangent to these two edges and the radius is 0.81. That'll drop that in the right spot for me, and then I can bring this leg down here and do a little bit of trimming to get that to look like the front view. Now there's some more details. We'll add those as we go through. The top view, I'm going to start with a rectangle, and I'm going to add these chamfers on next. So in the fillet drop down, I'll select chamfer, and down here in the bottom I'm going to go to distance, and I'm going to type in that 0.25 distance. Now the second distance is also 0.25, so I can hit enter again, and then I can go do those two chamfers over here. I'll right click to repeat that command and pop that second one in. While we're doing some edge treatments, I'll also do the fillet here. This fillet is 1/4 inch, so I'll go back to my fillet tool and select the radius button and type in 0.25, and then I can go in and add that fillet in. I will have an object line from this edge here, so I can object track that up, or you could switch over to your no print layer and you could draw a line up to this point and then switch back to object if that's easier for you. Either way would be fine. In my right view, I will also start with a rectangle, and then I will project this point across, and then I could just trim that out. You can do that however you like. Another object view that I get here, or object line in the front view, comes from this chamfer. So again, you might want to switch layers and drop that down for yourself, and then switch back to object when you're finished and project that line over here. You have the chamfer you'll need to project over to the right view as well. This is where you're going to use the 45-degree line. Make sure you're getting that intersection there, and then you can take that down. You have the same thing here. Take that over to the intersection and take it down. And then I'll switch back to object and go ahead and fill those in. Alright, now that I have that done, I have to take care of the two holes that are here. I have one that is a counter bore, so I'm given the through hole diameter is 0.75, that's the smaller one. The counter bore diameter, that's the larger one, is diameter 1, and it goes down 1/4 of an inch. So at this point I'm going to start by drawing my two circles. So I'm going to use center diameter here because that's what I have, and I'm going to put in the 1-inch counter bore, and then I'm also going to put in the 0.75 through hole. So I've got those two in there. The depth is going to be shown up here. So at this point I'm going to switch over to no print again so I can project the quadrants of these circles up here. Okay, so in the example you're shown what these different hole types should look like. We are projecting this up, and I'm going to switch now to my hidden layer. And here, this is the seat of the counter bore. This goes in 0.25 from my note, and I'm going to take that over to this point and then take it back here. And then the through hole picks up at the end of the counter bore and heads back here. Just like that. Now, a little trick, this is going to show up over here as well, and we can do that a little faster. We don't have to redraw the whole thing. We could simply copy it down. So if I project a couple points over here, just so we know where things are supposed to line up, I can take and copy this. We'll copy it right from here, and then I'm going to rotate it down from there down to this point. And then I don't have to recreate the whole thing. You can do the same thing with the countersink. So this countersink, you are given the through hole diameter 0.5, and then the countersink diameter goes to 0.75. That's the larger hole. The angle between the sidewalls of the countersink are 60 degrees. So the first thing we want to start with is our two circles. So we have a 0.75 and a 0.5. I need to locate the center point, so that's 0.75 back from here. I'll go ahead and do that in no print. I'll grab my midpoint, go back 0.75, and then I can draw those two circles in, and they'll be on the object layer. So 0.75, and make sure you're using 0.75 diameter there, and 0.5. See, I messed that one up. It took me back to radius, so I'm going to go back in and do that other 0.5 one. Now that I have that, I want to switch back to no print, and I want to project these lines down to my front view. Again, make sure you're getting that perpendicular snap or an intersection snap. You don't want to have, if you're getting lines that are snapping to weird things, this nearest one will mess you up. That allows you to grab any point along a line. But you'll need all four of these quadrants of the circle brought down to the front view. And then at that point we will switch over to hidden line. I'm going to draw this in here. I want to snap into, looks like 60 degrees, and I'm just over drawing that for right now. I'm going to pop that one in there at 120. I'm looking to get a 60-degree angle between these two lines. Okay, and from that point I would draw this line down, and I'll draw this line down, and then I need to do a little bit of trimming, and I need to put a line across here where the countersink cone meets the cylinder that goes through here. Now this is in the same position over here, so I can simply take this and I can copy this from this point over to this point. Now, we talked earlier about hidden lines, and if you look, some of these shorter sections, the dash pattern is not showing up. So we're going to modify the properties on these hidden lines. It's important that when you do this, you do it to all the hidden lines in a drawing. So one of the easiest ways to select all these would be to go up to Object, and you can turn that off. You can turn No Print off, and now all I have are the hidden lines. I can grab them, and with a right click, you're going to pull up your Properties menu. In the Properties menu, it tells me that the line type scale is set to 1. I'm going to try 0.25, and that should give me a smaller dash pattern. And again, it's important that all the hidden lines in the drawing are set to that same scale. And then I can go back up and I can turn on my other layers. We have some other things to set up for dimensioning. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and clean up the rest of this drawing, but we'll pick this up in a second part here to go through adding dimensions.